So now we have all our petals together. We got our 6 millimeter stem from our kit, and we're gonna cut these little things off because this is basically the stem that'll go inside the PVC pipe. So I'm gonna cut this little thing because we don't really need it. You can actually do it the other way around. You know, just these little things. We're gonna use it as a structure. So we got this, and we have cut out, I'll do it in the video, but you know, you have your 2 x 8 inch piece of foam, and then you've got these little strips like 8-9 inches times 1 inch, or a little bit more. It doesn't have to be perfect. So what we're gonna do is we are going to glue this on the stem. We're gonna wrap it around the stem because that's like the beginning of the structure of our bud. So we put glue on it, and we're gonna start wrapping the bottom of our little stem, and we're going to keep it as tight as possible, and we are just gonna start rolling. So try to keep it as straight as possible. And you can see there. So we have our little structure. Hold it tight. And here's where it gets exciting. So we're gonna wrap the initial 2 small ones. So every rose, like the classic rose, supposedly has 21 petals. So we got 5, 5, 5, and 6. So you can research that. So what we're gonna do is the very, very tip of this, a little bit more, we are going to wrap like a little taco around it. It's going to turn into a little taco, like that. The least you can see, the better. So we're gonna put glue from the very top on these 2, because it's just supposed to be wrapped around. And we are going to wrap around the structure like a little taco, and the other side. We're gonna make sure hold it like that. And you may want to, you know, as close as possible with the top part. And then I'm going to put some little extra glue. Just make sure that the taco is totally secure. So you've got your little first bud. So it's got like a little ball here in the middle. It's wrapped around your structure. As close as possible. You want this as close as possible. So we can thermoform it a little bit more. And then on the other side, you're going to make sure it's right. Seeing it from the top, you're going to completely wrap it around. So here we go again. I think this glue is kind of almost done. So we're going to go all the way to the edges and wrap one side around it perfectly, and make sure it is tight, and the other side around it. And the bud is starting to form. Look at that, how pretty. So we're gonna cut these little things. Make sure the base is kind of as straight as possible. And after that, I usually do it normally, but for I don't know if you can see this circle right here. It's my circle of if it's 5 petals, 3 petals, or 6. So you're gonna try to make a little mark, like 3 petals. You know, I always do it naturally already. I don't know if you can see. So you got a little line, like it's kind of like a marking just to give you the inside. So we're gonna place one still, and that one is still gonna be wrapped around. You know, so on this side. Make sure it's like totally contrary and at the same height. So and this is the first one that starts opening up. So we're gonna put glue on the sides. And we are going to glue it perfectly. So there you go. So that's 3. Now the other 3, we're going to glue right in the center and just the tip, so it can help you, guide you for it to be, you don't want too many petals on one side and then not enough. So what you want to do is we are just going to do just for marking it. Then you're just going to lap one over the other, okay? Because this is, I've noticed and people have told me, oh, how can you get the 5? I just got 4 or something like that. So we're going to put right here, right in the black line, a little dab, and we're going to glue this little thing to it to make sure it's perfectly, see it from the top so you can make sure it is straight. You don't want to glue the rest to it yet. You want to get the 3 petals around it so they can wrap one over the other, and you can lap one side over the other. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on the other marking. If you can see the marking, we're going to put glue right there. Right there. So you can have like, and we're going to do it, see it from the top and make sure it is straight. And you just glue this little part. Still don't want to glue the rest, and I'm going to show you why. And then we're going to do the 3rd small petal. So basically the bud is 2 plus 1, that is the one that starts opening. And then you've got your first layer of 3 petals. And you want to take it straight, and you want to hold that glue there. You can see. Now, why do I do this? You see this one is on the outside, and you want this one on the outside, this one on the outside, and you get this little thing out. And now that you have it perfectly one over the other, then you start gluing. So now you got 1, 2, 3, perfectly organized, and we are going to start gluing. Now, you do turn it around, and we glue one over the other in the right order. So basically, now here I will bring my heat gun if you want to. Now here you want to keep it there you go. See how pretty it looks? So we're going to go one over the other, and then one over the other. you can see. So you've got your first initial 6 petals. And they wrap around each other, which is what we want to do. You know, some people do it differently. You know, they wrap 4 and 4. I like it a little bit like this. So basically, you know, and I've seen like the rose will have like, usually it's like in a 5, right? And then it goes to a 3. So I try to keep the math of the rose, right? So here we go. Now we're going to do 5. So you've got these markings. You want to make sure, I usually do it naturally, but we're going to do the same thing on the next 5. So, but you now don't have 3, so you're going to do 1. Maybe you should do another color. 2, 3, 4, 5. So make sure your markings are kind of like equal. That's why I use a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a star. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go, these are 5. Now this is a complete layer of 5. These are going to be a little bit more open up. So it's going to be, so we're going to do 1 here. We're just going to glue this little part. And we're just going to let this one right there. We're just gonna let it dry. Because once we have all the structure done, then we wrap them and make sure one flap is over the correct flap. So you got 1. And make sure they're straight, like if you look at from the top. And then we've got 2 here. So you don't want any petal to be glued to each other yet until you have them properly structured. There we go. And then 3 right here. Check your marking. Just a little dab. Make sure they're kind of straight, looking at them from the top. So you can see it's 1, 2, 3. After you learn it, you'll calculate exactly the 5, but right now for a question of, I do this so, you know, people don't get, oh, I could just fit 4 and the layer looks too square to one side or to the other. So you're gonna see it like that. And then the last little dab of the 5th one, right there. So you can see there is no petal glued to each other yet. Then we're gonna glue them to the edges of the previous petals. So now you have this like that. So what you want to do is you want to continue this one over this one, move this one over this one over this one over this one. That's why you would never glue a petal initially. And then this one over this one. And now that we have it fully centered, like that, you check that it's straight, and we are going to start gluing. Can you see? Okay, so now, ta-da! So now what you want to do is start gluing. Make sure it is the way you want it to look, straight and round. And we are going to start. So I'm going to start on this side. So you got your right here. Let it glue. Then we're going to go on this side. Right here, I'm just going to fix this. Now I'm going to glue on this side. So we got petal number 3. And we hold it. Now it doesn't come out perfect, do not worry. We can always, you know, kind of fix here and there with a heat gun. So there you go. You have your, actually second layer. No, third, because the first one is 3 and 3. Now once you have it here, you are going to want to glue a little bit deeper down here. You know, make sure our flower doesn't open up and fall over, because if you're going to have it in a display, like right here, it's a little bit too open, so we're going to put a little bit of more glue. On this edge, make sure this closes up. Right here where I'm going to put a little bit more. I have to go refill my glue bottle. So you hold it from down here so you can make sure it's glued properly. And then this one over here. One is being a little bit, oh my God, I am going to go refill this up. Ooh. So you want to hold it down here. You see how your rose is coming? Beautiful. Check it, make sure it's all, here is a little bit open, so you may want to put a little bit of glue on certain areas. Good. I'm going to hold it from with my hand in here to make sure it presses properly. Got our second layer. Look at this gorgeous thing. I mean, just like that, it's beautiful. You don't really need more petals, but we're supposed to do it the perfect way, so it's got to have 21. So we're just gonna cut these little tips to make sure it's still kind of as straight as possible. And you want it to stand, like if you see it, you want it all the ways for it to be, you know, like perfectly like a little skirt. So now we're going to go to the other petals, the bigger ones. So this one, it's going to be the same thing, right in the middle of this, like you're gonna see it from the top. You're just gonna put the little glue and you're going to put it a little bit lower so it can be bigger, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do, and I am going to have to stop the recording to get more glue because this is aggravating me. So right in the middle of this, holding it straight, you want to put right in the middle of these two petals, right here. So I'm just holding this little dab here at the very, very edge. Ooh, put it too tall. Okay. It's a little bit long. So right in the middle of these two, if you can see right here, we're gonna put the other one. We're gonna make sure this is straight and it touches the bottom. So we're gonna put some glue here. It's just right at the very edge and right holding this steady right in the middle of the previous two petals. So if you can see, it's right in the middle. Make sure you can see properly. So it's right in the middle. Well, it's a little bit, let me stretch it out. Ooh. Now if that happens, don't worry that nothing like that's gonna show because I think it's a little bit too on the side. Towards this side, so I'm gonna have to stretch a little bit towards this side because you can see here is the other union. And here is our third, right in the middle. And I'm just gonna place a little dab with my glue that's aggravating me. Holding it straight, right in the middle of these two, and we glue the little thing. And then 4, 5. So that's in the middle of those two, and this is in the middle of those two, and that's in the middle of those two. You can see this one's a little bit more separated, but we will have to do. So we're going to do the same thing. A little dab there. And a little dab there. Now you can see it from the top. Now we're going to do that same thing we did the previous one. You see how this one's over this? So this one has to be over this one over this one, this one over this one, this one over this one. So we want to follow the same wraparound and this one over this one. So now, which one was I missing? This one over this one. See, this one stayed a little bit, so we're going to open it up once we glue it. So now that you have the whole thing, I am going to stop this recording and go change, get more glue. So you see, you got your full-blown rose. Try to keep it as straight as possible. And let me continue. So they are perfectly wrapped over one another, and we are going to start now gluing. So I'm going to start with one side. Now my glue is fine. Now the important of this part is that you are going to have to glue not only one petal to the other, but in here to the previous layer, so they won't move. You don't want your flower opening it up, you know, like normal flowers do, because, well, you're going to have it in showcasing. So now we're going to pick this up and we're going to glue here to the previous layer. That means you're going to put your hand in the previous and make sure it holds like all the way inside and they're not like flapping like that. Now you're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to actually glue this one here and this one to the previous layer. So you're going to kind of put your hand in here and hold it all together. Make sure it glues. Then we're going to wrap this one around this one right here. We're going to glue in here. We're going to glue in here. And we're going to make sure this one's over this one. It's overlapping properly. And we're going to hold. This last one here, we're going to do the same thing. Overlap it properly. Glue this right here and there to the previous one, and then this one to the other one. So we're going to put in our hand and hold this, making sure it is gluing where we want. See, now it's not flapping. You want it and now it doesn't flap and you've got your strong, oh look at that. So now we go for the last layer and we're gonna put it a little bit more down. Make sure it's in the middle of here. And you're going to push it a little bit out. It's not going to be at the very tip. It's going to be a little bit out. So that way you can have your 20-incher. So, and we're just going to do the same thing. Just the dab. Just the really perfect. Make sure this touches standing straight and this touches the bottom. So all these little tricks are like just to make it the perfect rose. Then we do number two, I'm sorry. And we're gonna see that right here, it's in the middle of these two. And you're going to dab it here. Right there. Then you're gonna do the same here in the middle of the previous two. And you're going to dab it right there. Then these previous two, you can see these previous two, you're going to hold it. You will see when you're looking at it from the front, and you're going to dab it right there. And then right here, in the middle of the previous two, you're going to dab it right there. And then you're going to check This one goes in here, 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 and this one goes, oh wait, out, 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 and out. Okay, we got it. We got it, guys. So we are going to now glue this to our previous layer. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with this one because this one looks kind of giving me a hard time. So we are going to put all the way back here. Can you see? And we're going to make sure we got it right. So put in your hand so you can fold the glue right here and right here. I need a little bit of extra glue. Well, it did glue, but so we're going to open it up a little bit, close it down here. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to make sure this is all the way glued. Can you see? Like almost all the way to the so we're holding this in our hand, making sure it glues properly. And then right here, as you can see, this one goes like that. You do want to make a little dab here, maybe, just to make sure this holds its proper place. And the flower right there. And we're going to do the same thing here. No, this one. Oh, this one I glued. This is no bueno. Right here, you're going to want to do that, and we might as well do that here too while we're on it. And we are going to hold this in place. Look at that, how pretty it looks. The shadows look really nice. Last one needs a little bit of glue, and we're going to make sure this one wraps over this one and stays strong and it doesn't go around flapping. There are some flowers that need to flap, but usually, you know, I try to keep the structures as hard as possible. Look at that. Here, I think you see how a little bit of glue is undone, so we gotta make sure we let it dry properly on this side. So remember, there are many ways people do their flowers. This is the way we do it in Amazing Giant Flowers. We've got, you know, I like to do the 21 petals, the roses. But, you know, there's just so many types of roses, and they are all beautiful. Oh my God, they're all beautiful. I love watching all the creators online on Instagram. So you got your... Now, I am going to use a little bit of the heat gun. You don't have to, be careful. Just to make this a little bit more, you know, you're going to round this up and just hold like that. you know, so it's as compressed as possible and as straight as possible. See? That little thing that was standing up there, now got it stronger. And you got the strong structure. Now this right here, this is where we're going to do, so you've got the base. Oh, I did forget. It's 1/8 pipe. So we're going to get a little, well, we're just gonna make this one a little bit shorter. So you're gonna grab this one is 1.5 inches. This is the 1.5 inches. So I just wanna make it 4 inches, 1.5 times 4. And you're just gonna want to, now this is just for the part that goes in the PVC aluminum pipe. You don't really have to have it. I like to do it just so it can be like stronger, so it can be sturdier, because you will glue and you want to make this structure, like you can see, like it's getting it harder. So, because this is the part that's going to go in the PVC pipe. And now we're just going to cut this maybe a little bit shorter, 1 inch. And we're just going to wrap it around here. So it's going to, because this part goes in the PVC pipe, but you're going to make something shorter so it stops at the PVC pipe. I'll show you. So it can be a little bit, you know, wider, but you want it to be really strong right down to the edge. So it's just a little strengthening on the base. You can see I'm wrapping all the way down. I don't know if you can see sideways. So that's kind of it. You know, so now we're going to work on our sepals. This is going to be exciting. So you've got your heat gun, you've got your structure, the flour is really strong, and now we're going to thermoform with the flour, okay? So what do I mean by that? So this is the part that goes on the outside. So we're just going to heat it up. And the first thing you're going to thermoform is this structure. So, because you got to consider this part is going to go over the PVC pipe. So this has to be a little bit taller than that. You've got to mark a little line here. You see? You're going to mark a little line here, like kind of like we did with the leaves. And then on this other side, let me get, you know what, instead of a heat gun, I can use the other one so that I can mark it more and you can see the perfect markings of how it's got to go. So I'm just going to let it just warm up. So what you want to do is this little part is going to glue over your PVC pipe. Once you put the flour in, it's going to hold it in place. Now that is where I recommend silicone glue, because if you need to use the PVC pipe for another flower, if you're a professional, then you heat it up, you let it go, and you use the flour, and you use your PVC pipe for another flower. So here we're going to, let me make sure you get this little thing right. You see, you want to get it like that, a little bit of space, and you want this to make a little line like that. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, guys, really, at all. And then once you have that, on the edges, you're going to stretch this out. Right here, this is where the part is going to, you're going to see is you're going to stretch it and turn this way, like that. And then you're going to stretch it and stretch it. So that way it looks like that. It has that little curved Now you can do it, glue it all the way down. I personally like it like if it's opening up, right? I like when they do like that. So now we're gonna do the same thing with petal number 2. We're going to keep it here. Make this little line. Mark this little line here. As you can see. And then just stretch the edges. That's all. You need to stretch the edges. Now you can have some like turning towards the outside. And actually let's do that so you can decide which one you like better. We can leave like the ones that we put at the edge towards the outside, and we're gonna do the 5th one. Remember to keep the one part you colored. This one, you're going to do the same line here, but this is not going to go to the outside, it's going to go to the inside. So see how pretty it's going to look. So it still looks beautiful, depends on how you like it better. So once it is glued, you can do that. So you leave the whole line and you glue it directly to the flower. So we can actually do 3 and then the 2 ones on the edges like that. So you see? And you can glue all the way down and it's not opening up. Now let's do another one like that. We're gonna heat it up. And it's gonna be just so beautiful too. You make the line, you continue your little crease, but you're gonna close this up. You want these edges closed, because you want it perfectly glued. So we can do 2 like that, 1 opening up. You see the difference? These are going down. And then let's do the this one opening up. And the other one down too. See how they're a little bit different. So there is no right or wrong way. They're just very whimsical. Close it up like that. And keep it closed, and then you glue it. And it actually helps with the structure when it's all perfectly glued. So now we are going to do the same thing. Wrap one around the other. And here, this one over this one, this one over this one. Okay, now very important. You do not want to glue it up here. You want to glue it like from the inside, okay? Because you will push in your PVC pipe in there, okay? So you won't have, you know, it'll look like if it's coming out. Now, if you glue it, don't worry. You can always put little leaves around the PVC pipe and put it together. So what I'm going to do, oh, this one's over. This one should be over this one. So I have now make sure every single one is like in the middle of the 2 petals, like this one right in the middle, this one right in the middle, this one right in the middle. And we are going to glue the outside, okay? So here we go. We glue this to this, this to this. Now this one's a little bit moved. Oh, and then this actually should be in here. If we follow that, this should be in here. And we go glue this to this, this to this. So there's a little tips and tricks to like everything. And this to this. if you can see, this almost can be. Now you don't want to glue in there, you want to glue this to the petals. So this is where you put your little glue under here, and you make sure it's kind of aligned, and you just glue it. So this one's right in the middle of this one. Oh, you glue there. We don't like that, but we can close it up. Then right here, we're going to do the same thing. So you got your sepal. Right here, glue to this. I'm just gonna put a little extra here just to make it sure it's perfectly glued. And then just right here, a little bit more. So this flower came out, just checking. This is, ooh, wow. This is 21 inches approximately, 20 inches, 20 to 21 inches. And here you go. We are finished. Look at this gorgeousness. So this we will open up and put in the PVC pipe in through there. And you can glue it, or you can, with heat. That, we are done, yay! So we have our leaves, and we just got our 6, this is 18 gauge wires from our kit. And I usually use 14, 18, and 22. Those are the 3. We have them for sale there. So you can know, always to kind of try to have the same type of wires for your setups. So you can know which ones are, and you can move around those perfectly. And then obviously the flower stems. So I also like to use the instant glue, but you can use your heat gun. It is your glue gun. So I'm going to use this one, which we have. We also have it on our website. It's the cyanacrylate glue. This is not the presentation, but I had lots of it, so I just put it in these little bottles. So what I do is we're going to do like right in the middle, like a little bit 3/4, and we're going to put the glue in there. Okay, because we're gonna start putting the wire. Make sure you have it like that, and then once it kind of sticks, you want to close it up, and you want to actually open it up. So you're gonna have to close like that, and then open this up and make sure all the little lines, you can't see the wire. So what you do is, if it's too open, you put a little bit more on top. You can use your glue gun, and you're just gonna close it up. Make sure the wire is in the crease without making the crease too fat, right? So I'm pushing my fingers like this right here. Make sure this is closed, and you have your wire. So right here, it's opening up. And how I like to keep my leaf is you make the bend on the wire like that, and then this edge goes down. We are gonna need, if you can see, it's a little bit open there. So So you just put a little bit of glue and you have a very, very, very professional looking leaf. On this edge. You can even pass your heat gun and stretch this out and do all these little things you'd like. It is totally up to you. So, and we keep this like that. So you can see sideways. I'm gonna put a little bit more glue in there. I don't know if you can barely see. But sometimes I'm lazy and sometimes I have it perfect. So we're gonna do the next one. So we're gonna start like 3/4 of the leaf. And we're going to make sure it's has its glue. And we're gonna place the wire. Now I really love this glue. It's similar to the super glue. It's got the same compound, but it just dries fast. What I like is that I don't get my fingers burned, and what I do not like is that to get it off my fingers and my nails are always, just terrible. But it's the same thing with the glue gun. So we're just gonna, you see right there, you can see a little edge. So we wanna make sure this is closed up. You don't wanna see the edge of the wire. Now there is a part where I will recommend using the glue gun. So once we have it like that, we're gonna stretch this down and we're gonna turn this back down like that so we can give that feel of the leaf. Okay, just for gluing, it's like you curve it up so you can get it. And then you got this beautiful leaf. So you got leaf number 2. And you got your 2 leaves. So I will show you how we're gonna get them together, which is incredibly easy. So we're gonna put glue in here. And we're going to open it up so you can make sure it is gluing properly right here. And then once it's kind of glued, I'm going to fold it in here and turn this to the back with the wire. You see? Got that leafy look. That's sort of, we need to put a little bit of glue there. I don't know if you can see the wire barely, but now if you're doing the white flower, you do not want the wire to come out at all. You're doing the white leaves, right? So here you go. This is leaf number 3. And we will do the other 3 right here. Ooh, I got glue on top. Close it, open it up like this so you can make sure it is being glued. So it's the same with the glue gun, right? The silicone glue. Oh, we got a little bit of there, so I have to clean it up. So once it's kind of dry, you're going to bend it down, and this part, bend it up. So you can have that look and feel of it. Oh, you can see it sideways. We're going to go to the next one, and we're going to start 3/4 from the top. Doesn't have to be all the way to the top. Some leaves do, but see, you need it long enough so you can bend it from there, right? And honestly, all the ones that I've just put the wire halfway through, I always regret it. That's why our wires are 18 inches long and not 16. Because I always need them like a little bit longer. I prefer to have them longer and have to cut it than for it to be too short. So we make sure down here, remember what we're doing down here? We're making sure this is glued. I'm going to put more glue in here. Just to make sure this is properly closed. So once you feel it is dry, you're going to bend it in here and bend it out here. See, well, that's a little bit too much. And you see my wire is coming out right there. So what you want to do is, that is no bueno. So we're just going to make sure, I think I bend it too much. We close in that little gap there, please. I don't like the wire showing. And you hold it in place until it is dry. And your leaf is beautiful, wired, painted, and done. Let's stretch this out because I'll show you what we're going to do with this. One more. So I put the glue, I hold the wire, pinch it in the back here to hold it in place, and you're going to push it down, close it up here a little bit, just to make sure it's right at the edge. And then we're going to start working on it. There we go. So it is really simple. It's just a question of techniques. So I'm pinching this down here very, very well. And I think it's done. Make sure everything is closed. So then you push it here. And you push it back here. And we've got your leaf. So now we have the 6 of them, and we are going to go on to our next step, where we are, next step coming soon. So we are done wiring our leaves. So now you grab your floral foam from your kit, you take the plastic off. And we have our scissors, and very simple, you take like a strip, I don't know, what is this, like, let's give it 10 inches long. And you are just gonna grab 1, 2, 3, kind of looking the same way, 1, 2, 3. And then you are going to calculate approximately, what is that? 2 inches. At 2 inches, one on top of the other, you're just gonna grab your floral tape as straight as possible. You can actually leave one top. And you are going to start wrapping, like right here. Make sure you put it really tight. Sometimes, you know, like super tight at the top. Because those 2 inches is where you're gonna start bending to the side. And this is your set, your first set of leaves. You can grab your needle nose pliers and you go the top one to one side and the back one, I think this is the back one, to the other side. And you've got your leaves for your giant rose. Look how beautiful they look. Really gorgeous. And we're gonna do the same with the other 3. You're gonna put them looking the same way. Stack them up. Cut 10 inches of your floral tape that's in your kit. And you just, like when I do it here, sometimes at the beginning, like 2 inches, I grab this piece so I could like stretch it out really hard. Because you want that first part to be like really tight. And then you just go all the way down. And this is what you're gonna hook to your PVC aluminum pipe. And then we're gonna do this, the top one to one side, the middle you leave, and then the back one to the other side. And you've got your leaves. Gorgeous. And we are done. You've got your 2 sets done. And we are at the end of it, and now we are going to get our PVC aluminum bendable pipe. So this is so cool. I love this pipe. I had so much trouble. I would do them with. So we are going to give it a twist. It's 39 inches long. So I like to do this little thing like this here. Now you do remember the bottom part has to be straight, and then you can give it like a little twist or whichever way you want to do it. So once we got our PVC pipe, we get our giant floral tape. This is the most amazing thing because I had so much trouble with the little tiny one, my first flowers. So Amazing Giant Flowers had this done and manufactured exclusively for giant flowers. So you can find more PVC pipe in our website, all the giant floral tape on our website. And you just open your tape. And let me cut this little thing off. They come in 10-yard rolls. There's 4 colors. So this one is a dark green. So before anything happens, we are going to grab this and fold it like 1 inch in. Grab this and fold it. Okay, so we are going to start wrapping. I like to put a little bit of glue and leave it, start wrapping. Try to always wrap the other way around, you know, so you can go unraveling unwrapping the tape. And you just start, let it glue a little bit, because it does have, you know, it's normal floral tape, so it's got wax. It glues to each other, but you can put your, and you just start wrapping your giant stem. Ooh, made a hole there. So can you see that? It's so cool. I just love this tape so much. Because I can do like a big production really fast. And it just reduces the time. And it just looks so natural, you know, even the wrinkles like a normal stem. You know, so you're gonna wrap around. I like to start, and then you're gonna start placing your 2 sets in, okay? So your flower will always be like 10 inches, so you want your leaves to look, but it all depends. If you're gonna have it on a table, then you don't want it, you don't want the leaves on people's faces, right? So it is all to your preference. So we're gonna start putting in the leaves. Now, you don't really have to bend it at the beginning. I don't know why I did that, but anyway. So we're gonna do that. Make sure that leaf is wrapped properly. I have done holes with my drill on the PVC pipe, but since depending, I use them for several projects, you know, so once you start putting the other leaf, you want to put it like, you're going to put it on the other side, right? So if it's here, since it's like on a table where, you know, you have people eating, I don't like to put it very low, but if you have it like on a mantle, I put them lower, right? So, but it's totally up to you. And you start wrapping all the way down. So all this comes in your kit. And I suggest you all keep your, well, I didn't say it, your templates, because in that case, if you want to do like more, you just need the PVC pipe, or you already have enough floral tape. We have the bases, and what I love about those bases is that they are so easy to transport because you fill them up with water and you just, you know, take your cardboard box off. So we're going to wrap it in here and push it in here. And we have our stem done. And now we are going to put our flower. So this is what I'm telling you about right here. So I'm actually gonna put it all the way in there. You can also cut it. And when you're here, I don't know if you can see, when you are here, you want this to go inside the red, and then you will glue this to your stem. Okay, I'm gonna have to glue it, so I'm gonna use this glue. Now, if you want to use your stem several times, I suggest you use your silicone glue, not this glue, if you do have this glue. So we're just gonna hold it for it to glue. Strong and sturdy. And you now have your flower. Look at this. Gorgeous. Congratulations. You now have your giant red rose.